no skips. The show where we put our headphones on, we press play, and we don't skip any songs on the albums I'm talking about. Hey, I'm kind of out there when I say that, because I know for some people I don't have the same style of music that they do. But for the people who like the stuff I do, you get what I'm saying by that. You just put your headphones on, you say, nobody distract me. Okay, I'm just going to enjoy this album. And I got another one for you today by my favorite band, Fall Out Boy. Yeah, so this one we're talking about is Infinity on High. All right, so if you're following the releases of Fall Out Boy, which at this point it's like I almost cover every single one of them, but you had Take This to Your Grave in 2003, you had From Under the Cork Tree in 2005, and then in 2007, that third album, they come out with Infinity on High in, like I said, 2007. Here's what I love about this album right out the bat before we get to the singles. I love the fact that you see them start to change, and they take a look at what you expect them to do, and they go in the other direction. You know, Take This to Your Grave, it was a straight pop punk album. From Under the Cork Tree, a lot of people say that is pop punk / emo. This album, you could make the case that it is pop punk and maybe even a little bit hip hop in some ways with some of the things they're doing. And it's also kind of a dance record as well, because these songs could be played if you're out dancing, which I don't go dancing because I can't dance, but you get my point. All right. But this album had 5 singles on it. And I was checking to see how many songs overall this album has. It's got 14 songs on the standard edition. So that's pretty impressive. When you have 14 songs and the record label says, we're going to take 5 of those songs and we're going to put them on the radio because they're that good. Okay. Which at the time, that's what you did, right? Like you listen to the radio to hear the new songs. Nowadays, it's not like that, but you get my point, okay? But 5 singles off of this thing. Those singles were, and this might surprise some folks too. The first single is the Carpal Tunnel of Love. I knew I was going to mess up the name on that one, but the Carpal Tunnel of Love, okay? That was the first single. And I don't know how many people know that, because the next single was the big one off of this one. This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. Remember that one? I'm sure you remember the music video on that one. That was a big, big song for Fall Out Boy. And I'll be honest with you, until looking at this thing just now, I didn't realize the Carpal Tunnel of Love came out before that song, before the Arms Race song. But again, This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race, a great, great tune. Thanks for the Memories is on this one as well. Another great song that I love. The Takeover, The Break's Over. Yeah, that's a great one as well. And the fifth one, the 5th single off this album is actually my favorite. It is I'm Like a Lawyer, with the way I'm always trying to get you off. And in parentheses, it says me and you. Remember what we said before. And if you're a Fall Out Boy fan, you know this. They always have weird titles, but they are memorable titles as well. But again, that's my favorite song. And I think one of the reasons why that's my favorite song off this entire album is because the music video raised awareness for kids in another country. Forgive me, because I can't remember what country it was, but it was raising awareness and raising money for that cause. And the reason why I make that connection is because I was actually doing, I was in church at the time. I was in youth group and things like that. And I remember watching the documentary about what was going on in that country. And during the documentary, they made a mention of the fact that Fall Out Boy had done this song, and that they used some footage from the documentary in the music video. And I wish I could give you more details than that on it, but the documentary was really good. Again, sorry, I don't have the title. And the song was really, really good as well. Go watch the music video. It'll give you all the information at the end of the music video of, what the organization name was, and hopefully they're still doing well. I don't know. But I do know that that song is my favorite. It's a slower song in a way, a slower song for Fall Out Boy. And it's my favorite off of Infinity on High. Now, there is a lot of people that I know who will point to this album as being a core memory for them. They will say, this is that album that I listened to in my teen years. For me, I would say yes and no. Okay. Yes, because I really love this album now as an adult. But when I was a kid, my favorite one from Fall Out Boy to that point was From Under the Cork Tree. That was my favorite one. But I did enjoy how they were able to kind of take their sound and not flip it on its head and go in a complete different direction, but able to change some things to keep it fresh, to stay relevant in a scene that was starting to change musically. And so I really appreciated that. But again, those 5 singles, they're great. You know, even if you just listen to the 5 singles, do that. Okay. Do that. You probably already have, especially if you're a Fall Out Boy fan. But some of the other songs that weren't singles that I loved off this album, The Afterlife of the Party was a good one. Fame and Infamy. Now, I remember Fame and Infamy from a movie called Sex Drive, I believe it was. And it's funny because they were in the movie, Seth Green is an Amish guy, and the Amish are having a concert that night, and the band that plays the concert for them is Fall Out Boy. So I don't know if you remember that movie or not, because it was kind of one of those teen silly movies, which I enjoy those a lot. But yeah, they made an appearance in that one, and that's where I first heard that song, and I was like, ooh, I like this song. But Fame and Infamy, that's a good one as well. Really, you can't go wrong with this album. Hum Hallelujah is a good one. The first song on this album, Thriller, featuring Jay-Z, is great as well. And I do want to make a mention that I believe it was this album, it had to be this album, if I'm not mistaken, where they had the Beat It cover of Michael Jackson. It was around that time, I want to say, that they had the Beat It cover of Michael Jackson. If you haven't listened to that, they did a really awesome cover of that song. So make sure you check that out as well. But as far as this album is concerned, Infinity on High, even if you just listen to the straight 14 songs that are on there, you can't go wrong. There's no skips on this thing. And as far as the time frame is concerned, you're looking at about a 47-minute commitment. Can you do that? Can you go 47 minutes without focusing on something else or checking out TikTok or whatever? If you can, check this out and let me know if you skip any songs on it. You know, let me know if you skip any songs on it, or let me know if you listen to it and you go, he was right, there was no skips on this album. Let me know in the comments below. It helps me out more than you guys know. And remember to like and subscribe as well. My friends, that's going to do it for this edition of No Skips. Again, Infinity on High from 2007 from my favorite band, Fall Out Boy. Make sure you check that one out and let me know your thoughts. I will talk with you next time.